It didn't exactly, man. It's like watching porn. You get hard fast.
You're eating some mush that doesn't turn into mold.
I went vegan post heart attack, but it's not a ethical thing. Like my kid's vegan because she's like, I love animals. But I went vegan because they were like, you know, if you go plant-based, you've got a really great chance of dropping your cholesterol. And my kid had been bugging me to go vegan for like 3 years and stuff. And honestly, not bugging me. She would just make comments every once in a while, like, not your mom, not your milk, whenever I was drinking milk and shit like that. So after the heart attack, nutritionist was in the hospital room with me and going like, 100% blockage, man. You definitely time to change your diet. I was like, yeah, you're right. And
what were you eating before?
Like just fucking, not even like
But
everything.
you lost a lot of weight. And when you lost a lot of weight, I remember you were doing a lot of juicing.
Yeah, I was doing a bit of that, which...
Vegetable juices.
They've since told me is not good because you're supposed to distribute the juice of whatever with the fiber while eating the fruit and stuff. This juicing thing is...
So it depends on what juice. I mean, vegetable juice, it's not really an issue.
But
it is
things
high
with a lot
sugar
of sugar
content.
in it. Yeah, like I'm part of... Now I'm a Weight Watchers ambassador.
Even people that believe that like they like vegetable juices, they say that you're really better off with like a vegetable smoothie.
Right.
Like where you get the fiber.
It is all about the smoothie. Keep some of the fiber in it.
You
in the Weight Watchers diet, they got these...
and all that jazz.
You go by points and shit like that.
Yeah, right.
Some shit, like you can... If you eat a banana, no points. If you juice a banana or blend a banana, then it has... points because then it's no longer about the fiber, it's all about the sugar at that point.
Eggs don't have any points anymore, huh?
No, they took points away from like eggs, turkey, and chicken, which broke my heart because I used to love turkey and chicken. Then I realized I didn't love turkey and chicken as much as I thought. Like I went on, in order to, after the heart attack, I read, I listened to it on tape. And not even on tape, digitally. Penn Jillette's book, Presto, about how he lost 100 pounds after his heart episode. And it's a fantastic book. I'm sure you know Penn.
Did he have a similar issue, like a heart attack?
Yeah, but he didn't have a heart attack. They were like, you're on the fucking verge. And they were going to give him a bunch of bypasses. And then a friend of his was like, instead of all that, why don't you just try eating radically different? I could propose a way for you. Ray Croney. He has a diet called Just Sides. And so in Penn's book, Presto, he details how Ray was like, for the first 2 weeks, just eat potatoes, nothing but potatoes. You have as many as you want. Eat as many fucking potatoes as you want, but you can't put anything on them. You can't fry them. It's just bake the potato and eat it, eat everything. And you can have 9 if you're in a sitting, but you can't put any butter on them, no salt, nothing, just flat out potatoes. So it's, but for me, that sounded... For me,
fuck your diet.
Well, I just come off the heart attack, so I'm like, I'd rather not die.
Right.
So I'll fucking try.
So how many weeks did you eat just potatoes?
2 weeks, straight up, just potatoes.
Did you eat them raw?
Not raw, like uncooked. You can bake them, but you can't use anything to cook them. You can't wrap them in tinfoil with butter and salt or anything like that. Just flat out plain.
You just baked them and then ate them. You must have been bored as fuck.
That's what happens. The trick of the diet, at least in my estimation, is that you're allowed to eat as many potatoes as you want. And you think you like potatoes. When I was reading Penn's book, or rather listening to Penn's book, I was like, oh my God, I can do that. Like, I fucking dig potatoes. And then you realize you don't like potatoes as much as you like butter and salt and milk and everything that goes into like mashed potatoes and stuff. So it's, in the beginning, there's a sense of satiety because potatoes have some girth to them and stuff. But they're mostly water, so it's an excellent diuretic. So you're pissing like a fucking racehorse, and that's dropping weight. Like the more water out of your body.
Some good vitamins in the skin as well.
Absolutely.
A lot of potassium, right?
But some people,
C.
like when I was telling them, you know, the moment you tell people what you're doing, you know, everyone's got their fucking advice about how to diet and shit. And when I was talking about, I'm doing this potato diet, people, you can't eat potatoes. It's carbs, man. That's too much. It's bad and shit. But in 2 weeks of eating nothing but potatoes, I lost 19 pounds just like
19 pounds.
Just dropped off. A lot of it water weight, absolutely. But at the same time, it taught me something more important than like, fuck, I hate potatoes. It taught me to fast. Like it taught me to like, now I eat a meal a day. I don't eat in the morning when I get up. I don't listen to the propaganda of like, you got to eat a breakfast and shit like that. Not at all. My body has enough stored energy. I don't need to fucking eat eggs and orange juice in order to fucking feel good in the morning. I just have to wait for my body to be like, nothing's coming in, great. We'll hook over to the fucking stored energy and shit like that. And I got a lot of that.
So you doing like intermittent fasting? Is that what you're doing?
It's not so much intermittent. It's like I eat once a day. And then some days if I'm like, I don't feel the need to eat, like you go through it. You hit a wall every once in a while, like generally about 9 o'clock, 8:39, I get a first pang of hunger. and my instincts are like, fucking quick, fix it. And then I remember like, just in 10 minutes it's going to pass. And then in 10 minutes, absolutely it passes.
You talking about like 9 in the morning?
Yeah.
So you're eating one meal, like typically dinner.
Generally about 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
And then you go a long time before you eat again.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, that's the way to eat, man. A lot of people think that's the way to eat.
I think so. Smarter people than I, like Ray, who created the Just Sides diet, and Penn, who followed the diet and stuff and led me to it.
They do the same thing, one meal a day?
Penn, not. I can't. I'm trying to. I don't think he's down to one meal a day. I think he just eats better than I do. Like, he was able to keep up with Ray's diet. I couldn't. After the 2 weeks, it was like, okay, now eat corn. And I was like, I've never eaten corn in my life.
Wait a minute. He's telling you just eat corn?
No, he was saying to add corn to the diet. And they were adding more things after the first 2 weeks. It wasn't like potatoes, now just corn, now this.
So this Just Sides, that's his hook, is that you're eating the sides?
Essentially, you're eating everything that's kind of, it's all plant-based and stuff. And so I was hoping that I could, fucking go the distance and be a vegetable guy. I fucking hate vegetables. And so I had to figure out a way to be vegan.
Fucking hate vegetables?
Hate it so much.
How could you be a vegan and hate vegetables?
You find a very thin corridor in which, to live and exist.
Scooping up vats of tofu.
Pretty much. Eating pinto beans, eating black beans.
Good source of carbohydrates.
Right. What else? You know what I've fallen in love with and never ate before in my life were chickpeas.
Chickpeas are great.
Such a great go-to snack, fucking full of protein. And in vegan comfort food cooking, they use it as a versatile ingredient. So like if you go to one of my favorite restaurants in town is Crossroads, they got like this, they got real vegan
Travis
food.
Barker's place, right?
Is that the?
I believe it is. I believe Travis Barker, the drummer, he
that's his place?
I believe so. Pretty sure.
Fucking, they got a meatball sub there, dude. I'd suck a dick for it. It's so fucking good.
It's supposed
to
be,
mercifully, they don't make you do that. They just make you pay.
That's very sweet of them.
It's a good business model.
It's supposed to be a very good place. Like
it is
one of the best vegan places
fantastic.
in town.
They get this meatball
Is that
sub.
It's Travis's place.
Tastes exactly like a meatball sub of my
about
childhood.
5 miles from here, maybe a little bit more, called Follow Your Heart. Have you ever been to that place?
Yes, I have. That's where I met Ray to talk about the diet.
Yeah,
the first
they have
time.
some killer fucking pancakes, man. I don't know what they're doing, what kind of voodoo they're doing to make a vegan pancake taste that good.
In New York, they got a place in Brooklyn called Champ's Diner, which is also like all plant-based vegan food, but they do comfort food. Like, like you can get an Impossible Burger or Beyond Burger, or like you're eating meatballs. And you think about it, you're like, all right, the bread is most of it. The sauce is the next biggest part. And meatballs themselves aren't really that packed with meat. It's much more breading than fucking meat and stuff. So all you have to do is find something that'll stand in for the fucking meat, drench it in fucking marinara sauce, and put it in between a nice soft roll. And they use like ricotta, like cashew ricotta to like kind of finish it off. It is fucking bliss, dude. Now, it's just like, it's vegan comfort food, so you can't do that every day.
Right.
But it's nice to know that if you're ever like, I miss real fucking food, I want to eat a goddamn animal, they can hand you something that's like close to the approximate. Now, the good news, because I know a lot of people are like, fuck veganism, and you're absolutely right. It's no damn fun, for me at least. But after a month of plant-based, I was on a series of medications after the heart attack, and still am. And it was on a full dose of Lipitor, which is a cholesterol fucking cutter and stuff like that. So my doctor, I was telling him about this potato diet, and he's like, I don't trust this. He's going, I want to do your labs. I want to do your meds. Give me some of your blood. So he takes me, he's like, I got to make sure you're getting all the nutrition. He's like, you can't get it all from a fucking potato. I'm sorry. So he did my labs and came back, and he was like, you're fantastic. He's going, nutrients-wise, you're great. Everything across the board is great except for your cholesterol. I was like, well, I did just have a heart attack. And he goes, no, your cholesterol's in the toilet. He's going, so I need you to break your Lipitor in half. He's going, you can't take that much Lipitor anymore. So he's like, what have you done different? I was like, I'm just eating fucking potatoes. He goes,
so your cholesterol dropped so radically that he was worried?
Yeah, and enough to take me off of my have my prescription.
I don't understand enough about cholesterol levels.
This is what they told me recently that I found fascinating. I was like, so this Lipitor, it's going to eat up the cholesterol? He goes, no, it's in your system forever. And I was like, really? And he goes, yeah, it can loosen it up and move it about, but then we have to be careful, make sure it's loose and soft and globule.
The cholesterol's in your system
so that it doesn't
forever.
Go into your fucking brain.
Oh, Jesus.
If hard pieces. Like, I don't know if you ever pull like fucking grit off your teeth after you've eaten or something like that, compacted. That's plaque, technically, I guess. But that's the kind of shit that's up in your veins. When that shit gets hard, it gets super hard. Like the the cholesterol that was blocking up my LAD. My man had to drill through it to get the stent in there.
And you keep that cholesterol forever?
Now, I can't say that 100%, but that's the way it was communicated to me, because I thought, I was like, this magic drug will eat up the cholesterol. He goes, no, we have to be very careful with the cholesterol because it moves throughout your system.
Jesus.
So I guess maybe eventually it moves out of your system, but if it's in your blood system, right, there's a chance that it goes up near your brain eventually. So maybe that's what they're trying to keep that shit.
We're both idiots talking about medical stuff.
I know, but that's what it's all about
right
man.
now.
You can't be an expert on everything, Joe. Sometimes you have to like take shots in the dark.
Yeah. So
you know your audience. You know the audience is sitting there right now going like, this irritates me. If they're not going to speak truths and hard facts.
Don't they understand medical science?
We don't.
We don't.
That's why we went in entertainment.
But when you are, or you're getting a full blood panel done and all these different things, they're checking all your vitamin levels.
I've also become, and I've become the guy that does.
With algae? And,
not algae, but there are 2 pills that this Ray turned me on to this doctor. I bet you know his name, but his name escapes me, who formulated this. These are the nutrients you need. I guarantee you've probably talked to this guy. His name escapes me. But Ray was like, get these supplements. They'll cover everything. He's going, because you're no longer a meat eater. Anything you need that would come out of meat comes out of this. But, you know, it was kind of explained to me when I was like, I don't know. Like, my kid was going, you could do it, Dad. I'm like, kiddo, like, we were raised differently. Like, granted, I wasn't raised with filet mignon. I did eat steakum through most of my childhood, but that's kind of a meat. Like, it's tough to separate from something that you've lived with for so fucking long. And she was like, you gave up cigarettes. And I was like, oh, all right, you're right and stuff. So it's nice to be able to go to places where you can eat food that's not just like grass and roots and kale and shit like that.
What did you eliminate? This is what I want to concentrate on, because I
cheese, dairy, all dairy. So cheese, milk. I was drinking, no bullshit, 2 gallons of milk a day. So that one, might have been part of the reason I wound up having a fucking heart attack. So milk went away, cheese went away. Animal food products went away, so no burgers. I wasn't a big burger guy, but I did like burgers.
What about bread, pasta?
Bread can stay. Pasta can stay. Pasta can be vegan, but I mean, you shouldn't overdo it, right? You can't eat a fuck ton of bread and stuff.
Right, you shouldn't. No, so that shit just.
And honestly, they'd prefer if it went away. Yeah, like most doctors aren't like, hey man, eat all the bread you want. But you know, it's as part of Weight Watchers, it has a value to it that you can eat bread, but it takes up like a quarter of the points you can have.
Is it harder to do Weight Watchers as a vegan? Is it tricky?
No, interestingly enough, Weight Watchers is so fucking simple because the app, it's all app based now. Like I was part of it when I was a kid. Like at age 14, I was part of Weight Watchers. And I was like the lone male in the group and stuff. Now it's so technologically based that if you're in a food store and you're like, oh, I want those, but I wonder how many points. You just scan the fucking barcode and it tells you. And so you can enter things like pinto beans. Boom, it tells you. There are 0 points. So anything you enter, they generally have a value for, even fast food chains. So it's shockingly easy to use. Take Weight Watchers out of the equation. Is being vegan difficult? Yes. Like I watched my kid go through it where I'm like, you have no choices. You're really limited to the places you can go in life and go out to eat. But if it's a choice between winding up in the fucking emergency room again and, you know, eating whatever I want to eat, which is what I did for 47 years and then wound up nearly fucking dying, closest I ever came to death, I'm okay to go plant-based for a while. Like I told the kid, I'm doing it for at least a year, and if I can live like this, I'll keep going.
So you cut out milk, cheese, animal products, and sugar?
All your
Did you
meats.
cut out sugar?
Sugar I cut out prior to this. Now,
so when I first met you, you were a candy junkie.
Yes, oh my God. And look, I'm still a candy junkie at heart. I just can't imbibe anymore.
Right.
I'll always be a candy junkie.
So,
I'm a dry drunk right now. I'm just like, I would eat all the candy if you presented it. But
it was mostly the dairy and the meat.
That I had to say goodbye to?
That was the big thing you cut out.
Yes.
That was the biggest percentage of your diet.
Probably, yeah. Especially dairy.
Now, what about exercise?
Exercise, after the heart attack, they don't want you to do shit for like the first month. So this is only 3 months ago that the heart attack happened. So once the doctor gave me the A-OK, then I was back to walking the dog up the hill the way I always did. I haven't gone harder than that. and I don't honestly, like, I'm so fucking lazy at heart that it doesn't, like, I know some people are like, I love getting out there and it fucking helps me think and my blood's, not me. I can fucking think just fine at home smoking a joint, sitting there fucking watching Colbert or something like that.
That's where you and I separate, right?
You like the physical, like the, you know, you like the rush. You're like the adrenaline junkies who have kind of raised their level, and so it's not enough for you to just sit in one place. Like, you could do this and it's shocking that you'll do it for 3 hours, but then after this you probably do something like razzle a bear, fucking knife hunt a species of
things, but I do I run hills.
Is that what you do?
Yeah, I run hills in the morning. That's
how far?
A couple miles is the most I do, because it's real steep stuff.
Do you listen to anything, or are you?
Today I did. Today I cheated. I cheat when I listen to things. I think it's cheating.
Why is it cheating? Because you're supposed to be alone with your thoughts?
Because you're supposed to be in a meditative state where you're just pushing yourself at a certain pace. And when you're listening to something, especially something cool, it distracts you to the point where you hear how heavy you're breathing, but you don't think negatively about it. Because you're thinking about whatever the music you're listening to is. Like, it's really interesting because it's a nice trick, because you can actually work harder and not be bothered by it.
Right.
Because you're so tuned into the music that you're listening to, or whatever it is you're really captivated with, that you can keep pushing. But most of the time I like to do it where I don't hear shit. I just hear the pounding of my footsteps and my breathing. And also I have an illogical fear of mountain lions.